So basically what we're going to have, pizza oven in the middle, you know, a bit of an Argentinian barbecue on the side here. We'll have a sink on that side, so you can just sort of wash your hands and stuff as you go in. We'll have somewhere for a bit of worktop space. I haven't really got any proper plans for it. I know in my head what I want, but it will change as I go. So to start off, we're going to build a block width across the back and on the sides a bit. I'll jab some wall ties into the mortar then, the pizza oven part. Everything's going to be stone faced that you see, that's why it's stepped in off the edge. Same on that side, it's going to be brick on the corners, stone. It'll hopefully look very sort of old looking. And yeah, we'll check back in a bit. I'll put it on a time lapse for a bit because it's going to be pretty boring work. So you can see we've done a bit of this block work now, which we put on the time lapse. Didn't want to film it all because a bit of setting out and stuff, pretty boring. We have gained a dog, so this is the helper for the job. We'll be paid in treats. As I explained before, here's where our sinks go in. So my Belfast sink to go in there, that's set out to the width of that. Bit of worktop along the side of that then. It's going to be pretty narrow, but I don't mind that. I want to try and keep as much room for pizza oven as I can. We're setting out these walls for a pizza oven, so there'll be shuttered concrete in here then. So we've got block on flat wall there, block on flat wall here, the same, shuttered concrete in there, and this part then will be where the Argentinian barbecue will sit. I've gone quite narrow on that because I want to just make the room for the pizza oven. I don't want to be mean on the space for that. And I'm hoping, I know I should have marked it all out, but I'm hoping I've got enough worktop space around it, but it should be alright. So we'll put a few more blocks down on here now. And as you can see as well, so we've gone block on flat on this. And we've gone block on block, because that's the only way to tie it into block on edge. So if you're wondering why they're like that, that is the reason why. These walls here will be tied in with wall ties, because if we tie those in properly, it just makes the bond weak on the other wall then. So yeah. There is the bit of method behind the madness. So if the dog will come out the way, then we can maybe do some work. So we're just doing stone. Lovely. Yeah, we're just doing 3 blocks out from the wall at the back. Like I say, any block work is going to be faced with stone or brick, so you won't see any block work by the end of it. So we'll just check this square. It's not bad. And we'll just range it through here. Like so. That through. So I'll put another 3 on top of this now. I knew this first day of doing a bit, well, first couple of hours just be slow because there's a lot of setting out. And haven't really got a proper plan. Well, I have now, but really have a proper plan before I knew roughly in my head what I wanted. The thing, you see so many ideas on the internet, it's hard to know exactly what to build. There's some fantastic ovens on YouTube, but you can get lost in a world of really, really good ones. And also, I don't know if you noticed the power cable sticking out the concrete there. So that's so we can have perhaps an outdoor socket and definitely some lights in the oven. Hopefully you can shine it up or down on the stonework, one or the other, or underneath the worktop. Shining down, it's something like that. Not exactly sure yet. Really soft light. I don't want anything too modern, I want it to look quite old. That's the plan with it, nothing too sharp or clean. Nice soft lines everywhere. Just plug this up there. That. Right, you're getting the dog to help you when you just start sunbathing. Just literally, you cannot get the staff anymore. No, he's happily sat. Maybe the cameraman will have to be the labourer now. I wonder if he's good enough. So everything's set out here now. Basically, it's just a case of getting up to height now. And we're going to be roughly built into sort of a house worktop height, kitchen worktop. So we just keep coming up. I'll be leaving wall ties out to catch the stonework every 2 courses. We'll end up, I'll pull this barrel back and have a look at it. So this front section here, and with a bit of an arch over it. I've shuttered concrete behind it, so I'll have an arch just to cover that shuttered concrete. That's just to make it a bit more natural. There'll be some more shuttered concrete across the back of this part of the barbecue. That'll be further back, so I probably won't arch that. There'll be no point in arching that, having storage. I think I'll just literally block up under that. Stonework under it rather. So yeah, we'll put in some more time lapse of me bringing this up. We'll check back when we do some more. So we're carrying on with this now. We're just bringing it up. We're going to do 4 courses. It's about 800. Plus when we shut the concrete, I'll bring some 900. But we'll talk about that more after. Little modification on the front. We pulled this in a bit more. If you go back, Danny, I'll show now. By the time this is skinned with brick and stone, you know, it's going to come sort of to there. So it'll only be a narrow open at the front. It's not as big as what it looks. But basically, yeah, we're going to keep bringing this up. And then we've put wall ties out on the wall as well to catch all the brickwork and stonework, so it joins in and ties it in. So as soon as we bring this to height as well, we'll make all the shuttering for this to concrete this in. We'll do some shuttering for that barbecue there. So we'll keep getting that, and we'll check back in a bit more progress. I know some of these walls might look a bit chunky what we're building, but I just want plenty of strength. I've got the room to do it, so, and the blocks to do it. So that's why they're all so chunky. I was having a good think on the weekend about how to get everything to tie in and space and stuff. I just want to make sure we can get some stonework in here and just not bricks. So I think mixing that brick and stone will really nice. Look really nice. I just don't want it to look too new, basically. I need that mixture of stone and brick. I think we'll be able to get that. I just think sitting against all these bushes, the stone's going to go really nice. The only thing that might look more modern on it is the dome on the pizza ovens. That'll probably be painted and smooth rendered. I quite like them like that. Stops all the dirt sticking on it as well. Okay, so we're going to put this lintel across this opening now, which is going to help support our slab when we do that. It'll help to give us an edge for the concrete. Here. So, this will all be hidden by a brick arch or stone arch when we face it all. And none of it will be seen unless you sit inside it. That is going to be strong. Step on. Back towards me a touch. Don't drop it, just gently. That'll do. We must be in sync there. I've just realised my mistake. Probably should have put this on last because I have to climb under this to work in there. Here we are. It's stayed on there. So last couple of courses now, just getting up to height. We're trying to get our height right, which is going to be somewhere around here for slab level. The bricks might be there. It's basically so you don't want to be bending down a stupid amount to look in your oven all the time. So we're trying to do it just so you haven't got to move too much, because down too low will be a nightmare. So what we're doing now is we're just running a little split course of random cuts. Well, not random cuts, I know they're 4 inches tall. Basically, you're about to step the wall in, so when we shutter the concrete at this height, the bottom of it, it's got a bit of a toe to sit on all around. So behind the lintel here, there it'll have a toe, here it'll have a toe, there it'll have a toe. And just give it strength when it's shuttered, so it'll sit. So we'll just run a course across the back here of all the bits. We chop anything, offcuts and stuff like that. Like I say, anything that's 4 inches tall I'm using basically, so I'm not really worried about what it looks like on the back. And then tripped over the wire beneath there. So yeah, just running this split course through. So even if we don't finish the block work today, I want to be able to pour the slab tomorrow, because I know we can get on the block work and the slab tomorrow then. Basically. Some of these blocks are very old, which you're using. It's quite nice to use them rather than throw little bits away. Because they all go in the wall the same at the end of the day. All can be covered. And what's been nice about today is it's boiling today. There's a nice bit of shade on this tree, so it's actually been quite pleasant to work. So we'll keep running this course through around there, and that's where we want to be for today. Anything else we get done is a bonus then. Shuttering this today, we're going to do about 6 inches of concrete in here, reinforced with steel. For the barbecue or Argentinian barbecue area, we're going to probably do sort of 5 inches of concrete because it's a narrower section. Got a laser which I'm pinging round the height on there to give us our level line. And this laser is kindly given to me by Cigman tools, so I'll put a link in the description for a percentage off this. So yeah, we'll ping this line right round. We're going to put timbers across here to support the ply, 18mm ply, and we'll put timbers across the middle as well to support it, because there's going to be a lot of weight on this. And we'll do the same thing over here. It'll be a simpler supporting over there because it's not so much weight. But the idea is to get this concrete to come right through on there, so it's one big pad, say all steel reinforced. So we'll get fixing some timbers now and then drop the ply on. So we'll check back in again in a bit. Right, so we've fixed some supports all around the edge of this, and we'll drop this 18mm ply in that we cut now. I think it's 18, it was in the shed. Yeah, it is 18. So we'll drop this 18mm ply in there now to sit on that. We've also done some supports for the grill here. So I made a bit of a mistake on this one really, because I should have cut a hole in the blockwork so we could get into it and support it. So I might have to put some supports in before the ply goes on. But it's not a huge area, so we're alright. This is the main one. I'll put a load of wedges in after now for the middle and everything. There's all those scraps of timber you don't want to throw away. Come in handy for this. that. Bit of gentle persuasion on the back. It's probably going to be a bit of a task to get it out, but if it never comes out, it's not really going to bother me too much. So this gives us just over 4 inches of concrete, how this is going to sit now, which is just about right for what we want. So the next step now is we've got to shutter up this little front gap here, and then we can start dropping our mesh in, and then looking at concreting after lunch. So we'll check back in once we start doing the mesh. So we've got all our plying to support the concrete. We've got this little bit of plying here with a few props under this, because obviously we can't get to it. I can't be bothered to cut a hole in it to get under there. I'll probably cut that afterwards, because I might make that a little storage area under there. So now we're going to just put our supports in under this, which is quite a weight of concrete. So I've got a bit of steel bars here. I mean, am I going to be able to get out here after I've done this? I don't know. Nice. Slap. What's that doing? I'll get some wedges under these in a sec now. So I'll probably try and just put some more props sort of in the middle of here. I don't really want to chance it. You know, it might take 20 minutes extra to do some more props, but it's better than the concrete falling, well, collapsing. Let me out. So we'll put the rest of these in now. This one's going to be a bit harder to do. I'm sure some people watching might have better ideas on how to do this. This should do what I want to do. So we've just got some wedges in here now. Just to tighten these up a bit. I think the concrete's just sloping off towards the back. Not sure who put the concrete in. So yeah, once these are in, we can just cut our mesh. I can't see this going anywhere, to be honest. And the good thing is, these will be nice and easy to knock out. If you put anything in without wedges, or if they're not on an angle, or just sometimes you put shutter in it, you just cannot get it out afterwards. So this is all good. So yeah, enough shuttering in there now, and braces and everything. That'll hold the concrete we want. So we'll get to work now, cutting our mesh. I think we're going to do 2 layers of mesh on this one, 1 layer of mesh on this one, because my mesh isn't really thick. So we'll double up on it, I think. Follow me over. So just dropping all this mesh into here now, which we cut. Basically, what you want to make sure is your steel is back from the edges of the concrete, because it can't rust then. So nothing's exposed to the elements. Once it's encased in the concrete, the chemical reaction stops it rusting, basically. So we've got this piece there, we're going to double up on this one as well. Remember, watch your hands on these. It can get very sharp. I'll make sure you wear goggles when cutting. So this one now, drop in here, like so. sit this there like that. So now what we're going to make sure, we're going to find some bits of block or something, bits of slab, just to sit this mesh up so it's in the concrete, because if it's sitting flat on this, you haven't got the concrete going under it, and it hasn't got the strength. So that is our next step, to do that. And then we're ready for pouring after lunch. So yeah, we've just got a few bits of slab now. See, I'm not worried. It's a bit bent this, but it's not gonna, the concrete will push it down that much, it always does. So I'm not worried there. The main thing is keeping it off the floor, because that is very important. You want to support it enough. It's surprising how much you can move. The concrete pulls down, especially when you start vibrating it and all that. And if you want, you can tie these sheets together. A little bit of time together, we should be all right, but they can be tied together. As you see, that's not going to pull down now. Yeah, these bits will pull down. You can tie these if you're a bit worried about them, but that'll pull down the concrete. So we will get ready for pouring now. So we've got some concrete mixed up. This is all in, all ballast, sand and stone mixed together. So it's about 6 to 1. So we're going to start filling this up now. Probably a bit sloppy this one is, so we'll try and stiffen it up on the next one. Luckily we've got a big diesel mixer here, so it makes light work of mixing it all. So we're just going to bucket all this up. We'll give it a bit of a vibrate and then smooth it out as it goes off then. Luckily it's fairly warm today, so we won't have to wait around too much for it to go off. So we'll just keep repeating this process until it's all full, and hopefully our shuttering doesn't collapse. So last couple of shovels in the back of here now. Just about where we want the shuttering holding so far, but never say never. Wow. Try and give it a bit of a screed off. Let's give this a bit of a screed off. Now. That's pretty much us there. Obviously we're going to squeeze this a bit more as we go. We're not going to leave it like that. There's a trial full of it isn't bad for what we want for now. Obviously this might go down a bit now as well. When we vibrate it, try and get on the steel and give it a vibrate. So just vibrating this steel now, just all the air bubbles out. So this has gone off a bit now, so we can start to just trowel it. It's not gone off loads. we trowel it like this, the better it's going to be, a harder finish on top. So we'll just keep troweling this now. We'll probably leave it go another couple of hours then, and then trowel it again. And it'll be rock hard on top then, there'll be no dusty surface or anything like that on it then. So the concrete is cured. I gave it a bit of a trowel last night, a couple of times. Didn't bother filming that, it wasn't much interesting. So we'll take a bit of shuttering down now, just because I want to get on with this stonework from here now. We've taken this shuttering down, so if you look under here now, you can see there's very few air bubbles on there. There's only a few sort of small ones, which not bad, but that shows the importance of vibrating it and getting all the air out, because if you've got loads of hollows underneath it, it means you haven't vibrated it enough. If you're gonna end up with the smoothest finish like that, you've got nice strong concrete. I'm not showing the footage of where I cut the ply out because ply wouldn't come out basically. So we brought this wall up a bit here. Starting to bring this up now. We've got a couple of plumb lines down on each corner. Makes it far easier than trying to hold a level or measure off the wall. It gives you a really nice corner then. Really true corner. So we've got a bit of semi-dry compo here. I'm just laying a few stones. It's quite a nice part of the job now because it's not too intense. No, that one's got to go that way. Wrong way with that. But that's why I didn't want to do stone corners, even though they look really good. But they're a lot of work and you need a lot of good stone for it. And I got a nice pile of stone there, but even so, it still takes a lot to get all the stone together. So you can see on that plumb line there, just holds it off nicely. Really nice way of doing it. So we laid a bit of this stonework now. It's starting to come up a bit. I'm just going to point it. I'm trying to get this old look, so I'm trying to rake it back as much as I can without being ridiculously raked back. I'm probably going to go for something like this height where the arch is going to start, because it can come over there nicely. As I said before, still have that nice tall effect on the work above it. And all this stone is stone about free from places on marketplace. People knocked walls down, knocked barns down. I haven't had any for ages. It is quite hard to come across for free. And whatever we do here, we'll do the same the other side with height. So it's nice for the arch. The arch is going to be brick then, so I do want to keep some brick in this. But I have got a nice stone for the centre of the arch, which will be nice. Just this sort of old weathered look I'm after. And it might not be the most traditional look when the pointing's raked out, but like so. So that's the sort of look we're after. Same the other side, and then we'll get on with the arch. So I've been setting this arch up this morning, just ready to build some bricks across. So I've made the skew backs for the arch here as well. Drop these on now. I hope that they stay put, and then we'll get these arch bricks across. It's a bit off balance, this stone is. It's just about sitting there. Wedge a stone in the back of this for now.
A bit cooler today as well, so a bit nicer to work in.
And for all the brick lovers out there, this is where these bricks are from. I can't pronounce it, so you're going to have to read it. Oh, this is the lovely stone I got here to drop in. Might be a bit of a battle. It's sitting here, and it's just the right angle. This was literally sitting in a pile of stones that I got free from somewhere, so it's come out of an arch somewhere. I think it's great. So something like that there. The arch now complete. I'm going to build the sides up a bit more before we can take the arch down. It's got something to push against. So we're now getting up to height here. I've got a cornerstone to go on here now. Just drop this on here, so you get a bit of a squeeze. Ow. That's our height there. So the plan is now I'll bring that corner up as well. I can take these timbers down and just work to the underside. I'll put a line up or something then, so it's a nice flat line. These timbers just in the way to work under. So I'm just going to point up this bit of work I've done. I've gone around the corner a bit with the stonework. I haven't really filmed that. That's the same. I've done a design change around the corner as well, so when I knock the wall down I'll show, but it's getting a bit tight in by the sink area. So I've decided to change that before it's too late. I think it'll open it up a bit. That's the idea anyway. Yeah. So tomorrow now we'll just get all the stonework up to this height. Same height as the base. It's quite nice. This stone actually worked out bang on height. It was more by luck than judgment, because my original plan was going on top of the stone. But now I'm only going to go to the height of that with the stonework. It's nice that this worked out to that. That's why it's really good. Really nice to make so much in some shape. Sometimes it's I can take this plumb line down then as well. I've cut a line up this block work because I'm going to get rid of this. I was in two minds when I built it. I maybe shouldn't have built it, but I built it anyway. Because when you're in with a sink, it's just going to be too tight. And I built this originally so I had a bit of workspace, because this would have been around this wide by the time the wall was either side of it. but the more I'm looking at it, no, it's got to go. So I'm going to chop that back, and the brickwork can come round here then. I chopped it with a cutter, so it should be relatively easy to come off. The blockwork hasn't been down for long, so it's not very hard.
What's the dog?
The dog is trying to get himself hurt.
Louie.
As simple as that. There we are, job done. So you can see the stonework's coming around there now. And then once it stops there, oh, there's the other non-helpful dog. And the brickwork can come round there and round there then. So the pizza oven will just be stonework on its own, and the brickwork on the other bits. So we're starting to come up more again now. We've done round the side here. We've knocked down this piece of wall, so there'll be brickwork there. So that is up to height. We're going to bring this up to height across here. But I've just got to leave it down a bit here, because what I'm going to do, when the pizza oven is built, this front face will come right up and merge into the chimney, just have a little brainwave. So I'm not going to bring this right up, because I don't want to line and then start again. Around the corner here, we're just going to bring this up to height. Around the side, this is up there as well. So we are getting there. It's quite hard when you have to go up to height, because you need the stone to be perfect. Too bad. I probably won't go any further than this stone here, because I want this to tie into the chimney. It's not going to be that wide, the chimney, but I can't do any of that until the pizza oven goes up. Okay, there. So yeah, that's as far as we'll go there. We'll put a little piece in there now. And then we'll take the arch down after, so that'll be quite exciting. Right, so we're going to take this arch down now. Hopefully it holds. And it should slip right out. Lovely. We'll just have a little scrape off of these mortar bits later underneath here, just anything sticking out. But yeah, that's our arch. So really happy with that. I've got a couple of stones to stick on inside there. But really happy with how it's turned out. So what we're doing today is we're going to start work on the actual pizza oven, which is quite exciting. So we've set out on here our circle for the pizza oven and the shape of it. So I think it's like 1260mm diameter, approximately. 1280mm diameter for this. We've got this calcium silicate board, which is very heat resistant. It's got a massive heat rating, but this is what everyone uses for it. So this is an inch thick, 25mm thick. We're going to be laying this down first, but we're going to put 2 layers of it, which is going to give us 50mm, because basically when you're doing these pizza ovens, you don't want all your heat to be zapped into the floor and just soaked up by this concrete, which is not a good insulator. So this is our barrier between it. So we'll be sticking these down, and then we'll be laying our bricks on the floor as a base then. So that's the cooking area, and they'll be in a herringbone pattern. One thing to remember with this when you're cutting it, just make sure you wear a mask, because you don't really want to be breathing this stuff in. It's not very good for you. So I just traced around this shape on the edge of this board, try and be a bit economical with it. I'm just going to cut it with a hand saw, so we'll come over here now. I think we'll cut it on this metal here, it'll be a bit easier. So what we'll do now, we'll stick this down. I got some high temperature sealant / adhesive, so I'm going to stick it down with that just to stop it moving. It'll just be a bit easier. Oh, not quite sure what's going on there. here. I've given this a good brush off as well. Right, so that's there, like that. So we'll get our next piece down. We can do a full piece on the next piece. Put our next piece on there like that. So we'll continue now just to mark these up and stick them down, and then we'll do a second layer over the top. I probably could have bought 50mm, but I think I originally bought the 25mm and thought, oh, I need to be thicker than that, so that's why I got 2 lots of 25mm. But I think you can get 50mm. It was a bit confusing looking on eBay at some of the sizes of them because the prices were all over the place. So just cutting this with a jab saw. You can use the saw for any sort of straighter bits, but not best cut in the world. It's why a jigsaw is probably best, but it'll be alright for what we want. So just put a bit of adhesive on here. This is high temperature adhesive, by the way, so it's only just to stop it moving a bit. Like that. We've got the insulation in now, so we've got the 2 layers of that calcium silicate board. It's all stuck down. Some of my cutting around the edge is a bit to be desired, but I'm not too worried about that. Could be a tidier job, I will say. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bed these the floor bricks in and a herringbone pattern. The whole point of this herringbone pattern is so it doesn't catch a piece of pizza peel when it's going in. That's what I've read up on anyway. So rather than being straight when the herringbone, it's less likely to catch. So we're going to stick these down with this heatproof mortar that we're going to mix up. You can make your own, but I've found some heatproof mortar which is food grade. So we'll stick them down with that. So basically you're just trying to get these as flat as possible with, you know, least steps in them you can. Going off pretty quick. Whether this was the right decision I don't know, but it'll get done. Right, so we've got quite a few of these bricks down now. I've changed my mix slightly. I've got some silica sand and fondue cement, which I've mixed together because that other stuff, which I'm still going to use when I lay the bricks, but it's just a bit coarse for laying thinly on some of these beds. So yeah, I'm just using this silica sand because it's a bit finer, and I have used that before on pizza ovens, but if you were laying the dome with it, you should be using the fire clay as well. But this will be okay for the base like that. Like I say, you could use the sand if you wanted to. If this board was flatter, if it was just one layer, you could lay them dry if you want. Enough there. But it's not very flat, so it needs leveling out, you know. So yeah, we're just carrying on with this. Put a few more cuts in, just to get where we want to be. Right, so we're just marking up a few of these for cutting. On the edge I'm going to change this pattern just so we don't end up with little small pieces on the end. Much as you would with block paving to end up with, well, not end up with small pieces. So I found the centre here, and I'm just going to, well, we do that way around. I'm going to hold it on what my centre is, which is 6.45 roughly, and then I'll just mark it like that. Mark it there, little tip as well, cut a load and then lay a load, you know, don't cut and lay because you've got mix on the go and things are going off and whatever, so no point in doing it like that. And if you notice, got no mask on here because I'm wet cutting, so I don't want to worry about the dust. Working our way around with these cuts, and don't worry if you can't get your cuts immaculate here, because you're going to have your perlite mix. Well, you'll have your ceramic blanket insulation, then you'll have your perlite mix on there, so you've still got lots of layers to tidy it up and have that insulation value, so don't worry if it's not perfect, as this isn't. When we're cutting curves like this, especially with a big grinder, I'll show you how to do it the best now. So we're using water, so what that means is the pencil length disappears quickly. So what you want to do is just score it quickly with the grinder before you do the sort of main cut. And then to get the curve, I'll show now what I do. I tend to cut diagonally sort of up there and then come from the other way, and you can join them up then because it's so difficult to get that curve otherwise. But I'll show you what I do just to help you out. So that's what we do to get the curve like that. They haven't got to be immaculate because, as I say, it's all getting covered with the perlite render in the end anyway. So we got all these cuts in here now to make a circle. Not the tidiest circle in the world, but the edges I'm not too worried about because we'll be putting the upright bricks on this. We've stuck a bit of ply into the middle here. I've stuck that with some CT1. You could screw this tool, which I'm going to explain now, into it, but I didn't want holes, so just stuck this in. I'll screw this to that then. So basically what we got here, this is called the indispensable tool. So this enables us to put the arm on here, and any point we adjust it to is always right. So as you come up, it's right. As you go round. So basically all this is this is a caster wheel. So there would have been a wheel there on it, like a trolley wheel, caster wheel. And that's where the wheel would fix to whatever you would mount it to. So you take the wheel off, you drill a hole through the wood, bolt it back onto the wood, and you've got it. And you set your length of timber to that as well. That's quite important, but obviously you can adjust it to fine tune it. So we found centre here now again, because obviously I've lost my centre mark. So now we found centre. All I'm going to do now is screw it. Right. Right, so now it's screwed down. You can see the principle of it, where it's simply, that's what happens. So our brick will be mounted on top of this edge, and basically, yeah, so any angle we do, it does it. We won't be going right up with this because with a pizza oven you want more of a domed top rather than circular top, so a bit flatter, but we'll be going up so far with it. But it enables you to keep that perfect curve all the way around. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting out the first ring. I'm doing these upright just so you have a bit more room in the oven before it starts closing in. and it makes it work better with the arch as well. I haven't set these arch bricks yet. I just dry laid them so I know where to come to with these ones. So we'll come right round on these upright ones, and then we'll set the arch ones as well, and we can start closing the dome in then. So wet this mortar up a bit now, which has made it a bit easier to use. And just gently push it into place. Again, we're going just beyond this pencil line to follow where the top of this arm should reach, which is there. And what you can do then, if you want to, you can point as you go. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's not nice stuff to use at all. And what you can do then is, if you have a sponge handy, you can just wipe off as you go if you want, like so. Okay, so now we are just setting up the sides of the arch where to support it. So I'll lay in these bricks that I've angled back here. So we're going to do it 3 bricks high before the arch starts. That's what I did on the last one, it seemed to work well, and I see a lot of ovens tend to do the same sort of thing with that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the joints as thin as possible because you want as little heat loss as possible. Go for nice and plumb and level, which that isn't. Okay, so that's one side of the arch done now. We'll do the same the other side. Then we can set the former up and arch over that properly then. Set this arch up. This arch was from another job. It didn't quite work for this one, so I had to put a bit of sand just to tweak the arch. I should have made a new arch for it, but I got a bit fed up in the end, so this'll do. So I had some arch bricks from another job as well, the last pizza oven spare. And what I've done on these bricks is angled the back of them. So they'll all come across there like that, and the angled back then makes it easy when the rings come around and come over the top or over the back of these bricks. Really, it's not easy, but it's easier to get the bricks to work with it. I've made a mistake in the past of just having the back of those bricks flat, and you're trying to get these pieces to stay on the back of the brick, and it's really difficult. But after watching a few videos, I think it's some of the kits you can buy of bricks ready cut. They come with them angled like that in these bricks, in these kits you can buy. The top of the arch should be 63% of the height of the top of the oven, so like 2/3. So I'm trying to work to that sort of height roughly. They reckon that's the best way of getting the heat to work the best. So anyway, we'll lay these bricks now. Right, so we'll just lay these edge ones first. I hope the wind noise isn't too much. It's still very windy here. bricks have had a bit of a soaking overnight with the rain, so it's quite good. And all the mortar you're used to working with is just not forgiving at all, this stuff. You can be really good at laying bricks or something, but this stuff is not nice to use. It's like almost using like tile adhesive to lay bricks with. That's what I would compare it to. So you can see better on the back here how this angled brick on the back of the arch helps with when the dome comes over it, because it means the brick, so I tried to set the angle on these bricks as well to suit the angle of the curve, so the bricks can sit flat on it better. You don't got to angle the bricks so much, make it a lot easier. So that's the idea of that. It does make it easier because, believe me, I've done it without doing this and it was hard. So I'm just going to set a couple of bricks either side of this to hold the arch a bit better. And I'm hoping I can take this arch down then. We'll see if it stays in one piece. The good thing with this mortar as well, it's castable. So basically you can fill in some big chunks with it, you know. I was getting a bit worried then. I was keen to do this before it went off too much because to be able to point up underneath it nicely and not have to hack loads of bits of dried mortar off. So we'll just have a point up underneath this now. Just to make sure these are all packed good. Another thing I forgot to mention, when I said about the gaps on the back of these bricks on the ring there, I haven't done them yet. Another good reason for not doing them completely as you go is if you've got any spare mortar at the end of the day, you can just chuck it in, you're not wasting any ever. So that's a good thing to do. Sand there still. So I cut some of these bricks, cut a slight angle on these just to get this first sort of kick like that. A lot of the others I've done before, I've started to curve right from the bottom, or just done sort of half a brick vertical and then curved. But I tried this on this one, so we'll see how it goes anyway. But yeah. So yeah, I've kicked those, done a little kick on those bricks just to stop the mortar being so thick on it. So basically, we're just trying to keep these joints as thin as possible again, minimise the heat loss. So simply put that in there like that. Bring the arm round, and as long as the arm sort of slots down in front of the brick like that, that's all you want. And you're looking for the bottom of the brick to be touching or in line with the bottom of what you're below, sort of thing. That's that one. And we'll just sponge them off every now and then as well then, to keep it nice and clean. It's not the end of the world if you make a mess. You can always use brick acid or something afterwards. And I suppose most of it's just going to get covered in soot anyway, and it'll probably burn off a bit, so not the end of the world. Go again, yeah. Just keep it nice and tight. Try and keep all the joints nice and full as you're going. And the back of them, you obviously have a bigger joint opening out the back unless you've started to taper them. So I haven't tapered them yet, but I will taper them when it gets a bit tighter. But that can all be filled afterwards. There's anything to be filled, it's just about getting them laid. That's the way I look at it. I shouldn't have to kick the bottom of every brick, every course. I think the next one, I sort of dry laid it, the next one I can just do a normal half. I might have to angle the sides of it, but the bottom should be okay to leave as is. We'll see now when we get to it properly. Like the different ones they're laid. It's nice now I'm over the arch and everything like that, just makes it a bit easier. Less messing around. Just needs to come down a bit more there. We'll continue this, we'll finish the ring, and then we'll have a look then how we're looking with the next ones. So on this row, I haven't had to taper the bottom of them because they sit quite nice with the way they meet the arm. The edges I haven't tapered either yet, but they could be tapered because you do get this V-joint open up on the back. So probably the next row after this, I'm going to start tapering. So what I'll do with this row, I'm going to do these as tight as I can now to the edge of this arch here. And then I'll have to do some cuts to meet that after, but I'll start from where I am here and try and not do a straight joint, try and get a half bond. Obviously you'll have to do, if you want to keep a perfect half bond, you'll have to do cuts every now and then. Again, try and keep these as thin as possible with all the beds. Like that. Bit on that. Just that. You can just sort of leave the arm there a second. If it's slipping a bit, you can leave the arm there. I hope this wind isn't coming through too much. I've changed the microphone to hopefully stop that. It's just been so windy again. So yeah, really here now, I need to just nip this down a bit just to keep that half bond going. So just take a bit off that, just to get us back to half bond a bit there. A bit more like that. the time, but it doesn't last forever. It seems like it at the time. Sometimes you can't see your way out of it, but it's not too bad in the end. There, you can see there now, I just need to nip this one down again, just keep the half one going. So that's what I'll do. So that's another ring done. Got these little pieces now to match into the arch here. This one was an offcut from over there, so I haven't actually worked it out, but it works perfectly, which is good. Not the easiest thing to work out, so I'm really lucky I've got loads of offcuts of things. And it works for there, so yeah, we'll put that in. Just don't underestimate the amount of cutting that you've got to do with this, because it's so much cutting. So much. But it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. Just gets in there nice. We're on the third ring now. So I've done a few cuts. We call them compound cuts because they are tapering that way and tapering that way, so try and close up this gap at the back a bit. A few of them are sort of guesstimations, they're not worked out exactly. I have done a few trial and error bits, but yeah, a few are trial and error. So anyway, we'll try and get a few down. Hopefully they go alright, not too much swearing involved. That's the idea. You just get pretty difficult as you go on. It's got to be the fatter part down. It does get very confusing when you're trying to lay these. And these bricks are quite damp as well, so they feel like they're going to be a bit slidey today. Again, we're going to keep this mortar joint as tight as we can. Okay, let's see how this next one matches up. So that one, it didn't quite need to be cut as much of an angle, so I think occasionally we can put in a full half, an uncut half, which looks like we can, because it's not quite tightened up enough yet. It literally only needed a skim off them this time. So that was a bit of a compound cut. The next one was a regular half. This one's a compound cut. You can just see that's quite nice on the front there. So it's just playing about with it and seeing what works basically. Be nice now because we can get right across this arch. So welcome back onto another ring. Just continuing upwards now. They're just starting to slip a bit because of the steepness of them. So trying to keep everything moist as well, just to add that adhesion. Because previously quite a few of the bricks have been damp because we had a bit of rain, but no, it looks grey outside, it hasn't really rained. So we're just trying to keep this going now. And just push that in there, try and keep these joints nice and tight. Again, I cut a load of cuts ready, so I'm not stop and starting all the time. That's that. Just keep it wet here. So I think we might manage one more ring after this off the indispensable tool, and then it might just be a bit too steep. So there's a couple of options you can do when you get to this. I will go through those when I show you what I'm going to do. I'll go through what other ways can be done as well. But yeah, I'm just concentrating here on keeping these joints nice and straight and trying to keep half bond as well, because if you do get any cracking or anything, it's not going to follow the joint straight up then. It would stay nice and strong, you know. Again, I'm just putting a bit at the front here. I'm not putting loads in because I've got stuff to fill the back joints afterwards, and I can make that nice and sloppy and get it right in the joint. So yeah, you can see my cuts are still as before, angled that way and angled that way, just to try and keep these joints. I know they're not perfect, but it's better than not doing it at all. Decided after that last ring, it's just getting a bit steep now. There's a couple of reasons. First, it's getting a bit steep, but also the big thing you've got to keep in mind is, well, there's work from the top of the dome. So whatever height the top of the dome is, this door opening should be 63% of that. Dome height is going to be 23-24 inches, and this door opening is going to be 14 inches, and that means you can get enough air coming in and get the smoke out. This helps the combustion. So the dome actually, it's not a perfect dome in these ovens, even though a lot of them are. That's actually wrong. They actually flatten out on the top. So there's a couple of ways of doing this to finish the top. One way, you can put a gym ball in and inflate that inside. I've done that before, but it is a bit sort of bouncy and flexy as you're working on it. Another way is to put a piece of plywood inside raised up on concrete blocks, or jack it up or something. And then you can put sand on that and create a dome with some damp sand. That's not a bad way. Another way is I've got a fiberglass sort of dome here, which was kindly sent to me by Mike Diamond, and I'll put his name in the description because he's actually built a fantastic oven using a kit method. Really good job he did, and this was part of the top of it. I think on his one you actually cast the very top of it, even though it was brick. The last part was cast with like a sort of insulating concrete, but I'm going to try and use this but brick the rest of it. I'm going to get the jack now, put it in there, probably put a bit of ply underneath the jack, the jacking point, just to widen it a bit, and then I'll jack it up to the height I need to be, which is that 23-24 inches, and then we'll hopefully be able to brick. Find. Oh God. Oh. Lovely, right. Try and get that in the centre. I can see where the centre is here. Just going to have to watch my jack up. I don't keep knocking that. I've managed to find the round thing I could find, which is going to help me with this Sport the Fiberglass thing, is this manhole cover. So I'm going to jack this up somewhere where it needs to be, just so I'm not fighting a few things at once. So we'll just jack this up. A few things in life I never thought I'd be doing. One of them is probably using a jack inside a pizza oven. First time for everything. We'll just keep going there. I have to watch now because I'm no longer in the centre, even though I started off, so we'll go forward a bit. We get where we want to be. That there is pretty solid. I'll show you from above now, but I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully I don't get the jack stuck in there, because it ain't going to burn out. We've got our 14 there, so it's 23-24 from what I've worked out. 22 there. Oh, there we are. 63% of 22 is 13.86. So, as you can see here, this is what we're up against. So you can see it's probably a little gap there, which I've got to watch because what I don't want is a step in the bricks. So I'll find a way around that. I think when I jack this up a bit more, when this is all gone off, it'll eliminate that gap. So I might have to tweak it a bit, but this is exactly what I'm after. And now I could, if I wanted, dry lay out all these rings and just lay it in one go, which I might do because it'll save a lot of time. We're now on to the next ring. This is the first ring we're going to do on this fiberglass dome. And just want you to see how tight this fits in here, which is really good. There's no bounce on it or anything. It's tighter than I thought it'd be, to be honest. I thought there'd be a bit of play in it, but there's no play whatsoever. So when I mentioned the gym ball method earlier, when I did that, there was a bit of play in it. But this is absolutely solid, so this can be absolutely perfect for what we want. We'll carry on with this ring now. I've cut the bricks to the next ring also. Then we can see how we're looking, because the next ring I've cut them slightly smaller, but yeah, so I'm still doing these tapered cuts, which are tapered down slightly there, then you can see that on camera, and tapered that way as well, so they fit nicely with each other. I'll just start here. Like that. We're trying to keep all the joints as tight as we can again. Like that. You get the picture, we'll keep going. I'll chuck on a time lapse now, otherwise I'm going to bore you to death. Got this table cutter, and luckily it'll tilt this way so I can do the angled cut. There's two angled cuts at the same time, if you get me, so I'll just show how I do these. We're getting a bit slimmer with these cuts now to try and keep the bond going, to stop too many straight joints. So obviously we got a cut there on the angle, and we got a cut there. You could also cut across the bottom like that if you want to. I'm not doing that. I'm not quite clever enough to work that out, but I have seen people do it. If you cut across the bottom as well, you'd eliminate the gaps on the back of the dome. I'll carry on with this. A lot of cuts to do. And remember, if you can, cut wet, like I am, because there's no dust then. If you cut in dry, it's just dust everywhere. It's not good for you. You can wear all the dust masks in the world, but it's on your clothes, everything, so cut wet if you can. Nice and tight, like so. With a bit of to and fro in and cutting a brick, cutting 5 bricks and trying to work out what's best, different cuts on each brick. Finally found a bit of a system so we get laying. I see some of these ovens and I do wonder how they do it so neat, but we'll give this one a go, which I've got. So I've got a mixture of triangles and sort of slightly tapered pieces. I'll start off with a tapered piece. Hopefully we can keep it looking tidy inside the oven. Who knows? next is a triangle piece. Like that. Again, we're dunking these in the water. Trying to just keep the joints as tight as possible. Basically, we're going to finish this dome today. So this here now is the final cut. A lot of trial and error, but plug that nice. Just got to clean a bit of mortar at the bottom of this. This one can literally be pushed in. I'll put the compo around it then, so in it goes. Tap it down with a mallet. On there, I'm going to fill on that with mortar now. There. Sometimes on these pizza runs you think, am I ever going to get to the top? We did. Make sure that mortar is pushed down nicely. You don't want any voids in there. So we're just going to carry on now, filling up the back of this and really force it into all these gaps. Like so. The reason the mix is a different colour is because I've just used this castor mix on its own, I haven't added anything to it. So that's all that is. It's just a bit coarse for what we were doing originally. The dome is now complete, so we're going to take this jack out. Let it down gently now. You just hear it dropping. And hopefully be able to get it all out. Try to squeeze this fiberglass format. So this is what I'm up against. I'm inside the pizza oven. I've slid in like that. It's not very pleasant. There's one drawback of putting the fiberglass former in and bricking over it, is you end up with all this. I should have taken it down earlier, but I just didn't have the time. It's been a good few days. Ideally you'd take it down, well, as soon as it's gone off enough, so within a few hours I reckon. And then you'd be able to scrape it off easy, so I don't have to chip all this off. It's not that hard to get off. Outside of the dome is now finished. I put a bit of plaster on the outside of the mix I was pointed up with just to sort of seal it up. We're sorted inside the dome. Just still needs probably a tiny bit of a clean up, but it's pretty good. Next job now, and this is very important, this is ceramic blanket. This is 25mm thick. You need to put this on because otherwise what you're going to do, you're going to heat your bricks up and all the heat's just going to go out. This ceramic blanket, that's your insulation there. So I got 4 rolls of this. I should get, in total, I should get 50mm in total of it at least. But I'll go as far as these 4 rolls go. So I'll wrap this right on the outside. Then we're going to put chicken wire over it to hold it in place. And then we'll put the perlite and cement mixture on the outside of that. So we'll keep rolling this around. It's not the easiest job to do because it just, well, wants to sit everywhere, but when you've got the chicken wire around, that'll pull it in tight. It's just a case of laying it over now. So make sure you overlap. And this is where you realise how much bigger your dome gets once all this insulation goes on. I want to try and lap it over this as well. So I'm just going to leave that come down there. And make sure you wear a mask with this when you're cutting it. It's not going to be very good for you, so they say. So we can fill that in with a little bit after. Put this there. So make sure you're overlapping when you do it. Don't worry about, you know, what you think it's going to look like with the render, because you'll put that many layers on, you'll easily get to work. And just don't skimp on this, because this is where it'll make the difference between holding your heat for the next day's cooking and just being able to heat enough while your fire's burning, basically. So we'll run him around the bottom here just to make sure that's got 2 layers again.
Notice how I'm doing double laps or even triple laps on the ceramic fibre insulation. This is very important to ensure your dome will hold heat effectively. If you don't get this part right, you're just going to be putting loads of fuel into it all the time because heat will escape. So if you do get this right, it'll make the oven much more efficient and much easier to cook in.
So all this ceramic insulation is on. Next job now is to hold it in place with this chicken wire, which is not a fun job. It feels like you need about 100 hands to do it, so we'll try and give it a go. I'll try and hold this in place a minute with a brick. It doesn't drop down and injure me. Let's see now. You just want to tack it in place. I'm trying to use some electrical tacks. I was trying to use standard masonry nails, but I ended up breaking the head off on. I didn't like the concrete. I suppose you could screw and plug it. That's what we'll have to do if this doesn't work. I go right over the top of this. Ooh. Way to cut this. That electrical tack, that's done what we want it to do. This held it nice and tight, so that's how it should go. So the job now is just to tie wire around and pull it tight, basically. So I've got some thin wire here, and we are going to attempt to pull it nice and tight. How this is going to go, I don't know, because I don't know, I'm not great at these fiddly things. So what I have to do is just thread it through these bits so I can pull it in tight, otherwise it'll just pop out. Thread it through there. Just wrap it around the nail then. It pulls it in tight, and you can still sort of shape it a bit. And we can pull off this wire again then, coming up, so with more wire. So the more you do, the easier it gets for this wire. Alright, so that's quite good. We pulled right the way around there. And that's good now because we can just pull wire off this at any point. It'll make it really easy now. We've got the chicken wire on, which is holding this insulation down to some degree. Nightmare job. I wasn't very good at it, but it'll do what we want it to do. Next stage now is an insulating mixture. So this is perlite. You can use vermiculite as well, but perlite is a bit finer. So you've got a perlite mixture with a bit of sand, some cement and lime. I think the mixture was around, I did it something like, it's roughly 6 perlite, 1 sand, a lime and a cement. If you're on the somewhere around that's fine. So we'll cover it with a thin layer, well as thick as we can get away with how much we've got. And then after that we'll build it up with sand and cement layers and it'll be smoother and smoother on each layer. Obviously always make sure you've got a key in after it for the next layer to stick to. Basically all we're doing is slapping it on like that, not pressing down ridiculously hard as long as it's staying there. Like that. And we'll get the shape there. That's basically all we're doing. And this is just that extra layer of insulation. If you just went straight with sand and cement on this, it'd probably crack. So this will just give you an extra layer of lightweight insulation. I mean, you won't get a lot of heat coming through this when it's all done. I mean, you could go as thick as you want with the perlite. It's not going to do any harm, it's only going to benefit it, but it just depends how deep your pockets are. So we'll keep going on this, and we'll see you in a bit. Just want to show you the difference between perlite and vermiculite. So this is perlite. It's much finer than the vermiculite. It feels more crispy than vermiculite as well. So I prefer using this. It is easy to use when you're plastering it on. Has that bit of the insulation layer. And this here is vermiculite. This is out of a chimney, so it stinks in it. See, it's got a much more goldy colour. It feels a lot softer. There's much bigger bits in it. I definitely find that perlite is easier to use. Both easily available, and they're not too bad. I mean, I think these on eBay, these perlite ones were like 23 quid for a 100 litre bag this size, and that goes pretty far. I think vermiculite's much the same price. Right, now this is the fun part, where you might have to use your hands to get it to stay on here. The wire that's fixing. Obviously I just showed you all the easy parts, just bouncing off. We might have to do something else there. That's where you really want it to bite into this wire. You'll probably end up with a lot on the floor, but it will bind on there. It doesn't matter if it falls on the floor, you can just pick it up and use it again anyway. It's not really playing ball because it keeps bouncing off. It will stay on there eventually, so I say. We'll find a way.
When you do come to put this perlite render on, you'll probably realise that it's probably one of the worst jobs. Doing the top is very easy as it stays in place, but once you get to the sides, it's trying to fall off. You've got insulation moving, you've got the wire moving, and it's just going to fall onto your base. Just keep persevering at it, and it will stay on eventually. If you don't feel comfortable using a trowel, you can put it on with your hands. Just make sure you wear gloves. You can even try wetting the mix up a bit and just get it on there. It doesn't have to look the part, just as long as you can get that first layer on, nice and important. You can see how much I was having to pick bits up that had fallen off and put it back on, and it probably makes it look nice and easy seeing it sped up, but believe me, it's a bit of a challenge no matter how many times you've done it before.
I start building up this chimney on this opening, so I'm going to fill in here with some stonework. We're going to do some brick up these sides and stonework the other side of it, brick arch. I'll stop talking and start laying stones. It took me a while to get the idea, because ideally I wanted stonework there as well and coming up, but I just thought it's going to look too chunky.
So that is one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. This little bit here, we build up stonework and then we'll have a bit of slate from the fire brick to there with a bit of an overhang, so we've got a nice landing when you put the pieces in and out. So now we need to get some stonework to get us up to the height of that while continuing it through. So I'll try and find a cornerstone, maybe do that in one. And if you'll notice here, I've done a pencil line just set back from the edge of the first arch. So the reason we do this is we're going to work to this line, and when we get a door made up, you want the door on the oven side of the chimney so you can seal it off after you finish cooking. And this will mean it'll hold the heat so you can cook it the next day. So that's why you put all the insulation on, because it'll just hold the heat. Far away at all there, that's pretty much what we want. That'll do us there. Not far off there. I probably won't build this front bit up here yet till I have the bit of slate. I've got it over there, but until I know the thickness, I don't want to have a huge bed under it and get it wrong, so I'll build it all together there. So now we can lay 3 courses of brick up here and hope we can sort of get to the height we're after. Yeah, it'll work, but I need the brick in first really, because everything's been measured off that brick. And let's see what we can do here. It might end up being 4 courses of brick because these are a slightly thinner one than these other ones. Put that there like that. I'll have to just do little pieces there. I'm not going to bond this because we'll end up with a little piece there and a little piece there, so those will just be filled in with 3 little pieces. We'll do it really. That. Right, that's good. I'm going to lay these bricks now, so we've got something to work against, so I'll lay all of these. All this brickwork's now done ready, so we're going to do the stonework now on the outside of this. I don't want it too wide, as I said before. I don't want it to dominate too much. I still want to see the dome. When I'm looking straight at it, I want to see the dome sticking out. So I think that's part of the feature of a pizza oven. Some people square the domes in. I want to try and just keep it as it is. So we'll just build a corner up here. Well, build into there as we go. I'll have to build the background as well. I won't build right into this, I want more perlite to be around the back of it. Don't want any cold spots here. Like that. I know it might seem a bit of a waste using these fire bricks in here, but I literally have no other use for them. They're going to be thrown away. Well, these cuts anyway. So we're looking for 370 roughly again. There we are. That's why plumb lines are so good if you can do them. They just make such a nice straight edge. It's never the same trying to plumb up or measure. It'll still be okay, but it's not as good. Just going to do a bit of pointing on the inside of this. Going to do weather struck on this. This is just an angled joint. It's actually gone off a bit too much. These bricks just sucked it right up. Soft brush on this.
I'll do the same on these. I'll just do the outside of this so you can see. I'm not going to switch the camera on. See, it's a bit soft this side. The sun hasn't hit it so much maybe. We built this corner up a bit, so we're bringing it up to the same height as the other side. It's a bit longer. Yeah, that's better. So I set this arch up, which is the same profile as what I used below. It's not exactly going to match the arch behind it, but it'll work. I put all these bricks on here ready. I put a couple of pencil marks where each joint should be, spaced them out as they should be. These middle couple need sort of picking up. I might have to put some spaces under it because I need to pick the middle up to do the back arch. Anyway, I'll show you now how this chimney is going to work, because I've cut these 4 bricks. I've cut them to make a bit of a chimney opening, but I'll show you now what I mean. So I cut them like that to give a bit of a chimney opening. These will also have a gap there, so the smoke will channel up anywhere in here and get up into the circular chimney flue that I put in, which will be sitting on there somewhere. So there's enough room for the smoke to get out. A bit difficult one to explain, but we'll get laying this arch. I got to lay a couple of bits of stone here to support the edge of this arch, same there, and we'll start building it. It's also very important you make your chimney opening there big enough to channel the smoke away. I've done before and I just literally left a hole like that, didn't quite work, so you want that bit of a channel to capture all that smoke coming out and get up into the middle like that. So that is very important. Try to keep an eye on these pencil marks I put in. Make sure everything's in line here. Other reason other than that. Just so we know, for the baby in the background, that is my child. Make sure you fill the frogs in on the brick, so you don't have any voids. These ones have a bit of a double frog, not a small double frog. Don't actually know my design beyond this, but I know these corners need to come up a tiny bit more. So I need to get thinking tonight for the design. See what we do. Quite tight in there, you know. Oh God. He's a good point up. So I got this chimney liner which I'm going to brick round. It's probably, well, I wouldn't say it's too big, but it does leave me a bit tight with the stonework on the front here, but I wanted something that was going to take the smoke away nicely and big enough. I could stone it, but it's not as nice for a flue, so I'm going to try using this. Just from a reclamation yard I bought this. It was only cheap. I'm just going to level this up now. Not bad that way. A bit far up that way. This thing isn't the straightest either, so not the easiest to level up. No. Who's moving the arch of it then? What am I doing? No. What am I doing? Just thought I'd show my stone pile that I picked through to find corners and everything. I've been looking through it now to try and find some stones. I'm trying to castellate the chimney just so I can step it out a bit from stones like this. Shape these a bit. We've also been going through trying to find loads of corners for this chimney. So there's quite a few which are just sort of natural corners. There's a few then I've just got to do a bit of work on them with the hammer and chisel. But yeah, this is all the stone that I've been collecting for free over the years. I just got to keep digging through it and find bits. It does get a bit frustrating trying to find corners sometimes, but there's a few hidden away. Just show you how much is here. And here's a little pile of corners I got going on. I decided to complicate this build even further because the clearance from the flue, there wasn't much to the edge of the brickwork, so I was limited to the size of the chimney. I'd never have fit stone against there with what I had. I only had about 3 inches to play with. I quite like the look of this castellation as well. I've seen it on a lot of castles and church towers, so I thought I'd give it a go. We'll try and set this one here now. The reason I put this level here is this middle one hasn't got a lot of purchase. The first time I tried it, the stone fell off. So we'll have a look here now. Not quite sure how it'll go. And this pipe you can see here, this is a bit of ducting. I didn't really have any proper ducting, so I just got some tube for a light that's going to come here. Hopefully I haven't done too sharp a turn and the cable I've threaded through the cable I've threaded through is just temporary, just so we can pull something through. I couldn't find any string quick enough. And come down a bit. Got this piece on. Ideally I wanted 2 bits the same height, but very difficult to find the stone I wanted, so didn't in the end. Just trying to get a cornerstone on here now just to get some of the weight back as this cornerstone goes back a bit, just to balance it out a bit. Shifts the weight back enough now so nothing moves when we start building up more. Also going to jab a few ties back because some of the stonework isn't as thick as I'd hoped, just because of the chimney. Because what we'll do, we'll fill around the chimney with the vermiculite mix when that arrives. Sorry, perlite. We've got another cornerstone going on here. It's quite long going back that way, so it's good. It's going to shift the weight back off the front again, because until this all goes off, it's all a bit precarious. Just got a bit of a better angle on here now, as you can see the back. I built across the back of the pizza oven there. I put a few wall ties and stuff across to just try and support the weight a bit, even though this stuff's pretty solid now with the mesh. That's better. That's perfect actually. It's nearly there. So we've got our second layer of perlite that we're going to put on now. Get another sort of inch layer. We're looking for about 50mm in total. You can do more. You know, it doesn't matter if you do more, it's always going to help. So just spread. This layer is much easier than the first layer. Much easier. Again, it's just roughly getting that shape. I'm not worrying too much because I have a couple of layers of render to get the proper shape. Obviously, as you go further down the dome, it's harder to get it to stick on, but it's still much easier than the first layer. So that is fine. Actually grips quite nice on the rough surface there. Do the back part of the chimney now. Try and do a bit tidy because it's not the best stonework. Although I'm never really going to see the back of it. I also filled round the chimney yesterday with the perlite mix. Or on the stone, it'll just give it a bit more insulation around it. Do us. Just got another cornerstone to put on the back here. Carry on going up. It's just slower now, we're on trestles because it's up down all the time, stop start. Bad. Let's see if I need to build a chimney higher or not. So, just got some scrap paper, I don't want anything too hot. Just see the flames rolling around there. The chimney's working pretty well. I just can't decide what to do. Do I bring the stonework up a bit more so the chimney's higher, or do I gamble that the chimney pot is going to give me that extra length? Because, you know, another 2 foot's going to make a hell of a difference in the draw. So just putting this bed on. I just finish all the little jobs on this now. There's still loads more jobs to do, but all these jobs. I'm gonna put some primer on the back of this. Slate slab as well, just very smooth. And this landing area is gonna be well used, so what I don't want is it to be rattled off. Put plenty of primer on here, cement-based primer. Let's see how good my cutting was. Got primer all over my fingers now. Lovely. bit. It's good. So I extend this flue pipe by 120mm. Trying to fill around this void now with some vermiculite and cement mixture, which I managed to get off Facebook Marketplace. Vermiculite for free. Thank you, Ben. We filled to the top of this here. This is where our chimney pot will sit on now. We'll stick that chimney pot on and then put some haunching up to it. We'll leave that go off now. So I've been chimney pot shopping. The pot I had, I wasn't happy with how tall it was. So I've been to a reclamation yard local to me and got this one. Let's see if we can get it on top. Oh! I just knocked a stone there. Joking. But we are on here. So we're just going to square it up. So we've got 180 there. We've got 70 there. We could go. Just going to damp this stonework down to give it a bit of adhesion. I put a few fibres with this mix as well, just to make this stick. Sorry, just to add the strength to it, stop cracking too much.
I'm just showing you here the transition between the inner arch and the flue. It's very important to get this right to ensure you capture as much smoke as you can up the flue rather than flying out the door. It's better to have almost the full width of the arch going up into the flue rather than just a small hole in the centre of the arch. Also, I'm showing you here the inside of the oven dome. When this has a good burn, it'll clean all the bricks off nicely. Just doing another little test fire. We're getting a bit of smoke out the front, but I'm hoping when it's warm enough, all the smoke draws. So I'm hoping when it gets warmer, so we can see now it's very minimal smoke coming out the front. Most of it's coming out the chimney. Just see the smoke rolling up inside there. Working very well. Obviously when it gets nice and hot, I don't think anything's going to come up the front there. I'll do that. That's performing now. I'll just keep ramping those fires up. Just sponging up the front of this now. Just gone off enough.
just to blend it in a bit. Nice smooth sponge over it. So then these little bits in there. So just to get it looking tidy. So doing more layers still on this vermiculite mixture. Still waiting for more perlite to come, so I'm using this vermiculite that I got for free. But perlite is easier to use, it's finer, but both does the same job. So it's just vermiculite mixed with sand and cement. Probably around 8 to 1. I've mixed it with some mortar that I had on the go anyway, so quite on those sides. Really trying to start building the shape now of the actual dome as the layers go on. I'm just about building this up. It sticks pretty easy because it's quite coarse and it's got a bit of body to it, so each coat does get a lot easier. It's a different colour than the other mixtures because the vermiculite is basically a different colour to the perlite. The perlite's white, that's why it goes so grey with the grey cement. Just keep building it round now. It's surprising how much you lose in width. You know, you think you've got loads of room for workspace around it, but you soon lose it once you start getting these layers on, so just bear that in mind when you're planning out. It's actually brought me nicely to the back of my stand, which is quite good, so I don't end up with a funny area behind it. It just drops straight off, so it'll be quite good for water. So I'm just going to cut some slate up. These will be for either side of where the chimney starts, on top of the stonework there, just to tidy it off. So I cut it this wet cutter, which is very handy. Should be nice and soft to cut. Just cut it to length now. Quite heavy, this slate. I don't want to see the cut edge really, I want it to stay natural. Lovely clean cutted leaves, but that cut is too clean for me really. You can dress it up, but you're not going to see the back of this. I'm just going to put a key in this coat now, just so we've got something to bind to, because the other coats have gone onto the perlite, which is quite rough, quite coarse. But because this is quite smooth, we'll just make sure we've got a bit of a key in it. So nothing more to it than literally just putting some lines in it. Alright, now she's burning hot, you can just see the smoke coming up properly. Just shooting straight up there. So just sticking on this bit of slate here, we've done the other side of it. I'll put some primer on the back of it. I've got plenty of this stuff to use, so I don't mind using too much. Plonk it on here like that. So try and just get it looking similar-ish to the other side. Just putting a few bricks down here for the Belfast sink to go in. nice old Goodwick bricks, and well, Goodwick and Swansea ones. See Goodwick? It's not far from me. Probably heard of Fishguard, a lot of people would have. So yeah, I'm just going to run the bricks around there. There's a pipe behind there, waste pipe for us to get into, that's why I put a brick in front of it just to hide it. Get into that, we'll have a tap coming up the back of it then. These are all big chunky bricks. Much bigger than bricks you buy now. I think they come out of a house. I knocked a wall down. It's all lime mortar, so all the mortar came off very easily on it. If it was cement on them, probably wouldn't be able to salvage them so easy. I'll give a nice bit of character on this. Probably just going to do a bit of flush pointing on it. Yeah, they're not the easiest to level up because they're all over the place. But it'll look quite nice when they're all in together. That up. We'll just keep on bringing this up until we're ready for the height of the sink. So these joints end up being big because all these bricks are just all over the place for sizing. So you've got to leave a bit go. It'll all add to the character. Just trying to get all these sort of jobs done before the weather and temperature changes too much, because everything just takes so long to go off otherwise. Nice to have all this blockwork covered up as well. Some of this line's quite old, so a few lumps in there. As you can see, when it came out of the old house, there was a little chase someone put in for a pipe. So we're just laying here, bit of a wall to be on the back of the sink, just somewhere so I can mount the tap and just to give a, what do they call it, shelter, just stop everything growing into the sink basically from up here. We're going to be trimming it all the time. This won't come that high, this wall, just enough we can mount the tap on. Plumber will probably shout at me for giving him an awkward job, but he'll get over it. Not the easiest one to get into here. Just going to point this up now. We've just got a bit of a weather-struck appearance on this, just to give it some sort of a feature.
we'll just give all this a bit of a brush off now. It's had long enough to go off. Knock all the bits off. Nice soft brush on it. Just got that old enough look now. So now we're just laying some more brickwork across here. And this is going to obviously cover up the blockwork, but also form the space for the Argentinian barbecue. So we'll keep building this up here now, up to around this height, face of brickwork. There'll be a wall coming up on the back and on the sides to contain the Argentinian barbecue, sort of stop the wind blowing on the smoke and everything. And there'll be fire brick in the middle of that then, and some insulation beneath it, just to try and keep that heat in there. And then we'll do this front wall slightly higher than the fire area to stop all the ash coming out and everything. Be a worktop on this part here. There's a decent width here for a worktop because I've run out of space for worktop. There's not a lot on the sides now just because the size of the pizza and poor planning by me really. It's surprising how big you need to build everything. So just keep going on up, nearly got all of the blockwork covered now, which is lovely. Really nice. Just eating the compo up and eating the bricks up. The boy cleaning the bricks off for me, he can't keep up. Not that I'm fast, but it just takes a while to clean them off and bring them in. And we've got another little fire going in the oven just to dry it out a bit more. Surprised how much compo it needs on the bed. Push it out. Actually, quite a nice brick to lay. These are Swansea ones as well. There's Gillick and Swansea ones. Mixture of them. These have been on the ground a while. Pretty much finished flush with this block work. I didn't expect to finish flush, but it did, because these don't work gauge with the block work, because these are more like 70mm rather than 65. So 3 of these should work out to a block, but not with these old type bricks. Of a pretty long day, managed to get this up, which I'm really happy with. We'll just joint it all up.
like it's always been. That's the plan anyway. So I'm just putting on here now another little scratch coat. Just before we put the final layer on, this is just going to be a very thin scratch coat. Just I've got all the perlite to use, so that's another reason why I'm putting so many coats on. Yeah, just going to be very thin, this one. Just another one just to get that shape going again. So I've made it quite sticky. This is just perlite. A bit less perlite than the other ones. There's a lot of sand in this one, just so I can really get that shape going. It seems like it's going to go off quick enough for me. Now we can get another coat on this. So we're putting on our final coat of render now. This is just straight sand and cement with fibres. We've done a 4-to-1 mix on this. Nice hard coating. Only going to be thin again. Got plenty of fibres in it just to minimise the cracking. It'll be nice and smooth then. Just take the paint and shed the water nicely. Yeah. Not too much, I'm pretty flexible. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get hold of him to light up this pizza oven for me. I want to use a straight float on this round surface. But sponge is our best friend on this. And we managed to finish this up now. Float this up here now, sponge it up rather. All the bits you can see sticking out of the fibres, but that's okay because it'll paint up over that. Just giving this a final little float now, Might give it a final little sponge after with a bit of water on it. But you see how hard it's got. Just trying to get that curved shape going. Nearly there. Still a bit wet on the back side here. But any of these fibres sticking up as well, we can just burn off with the blowtorch. I'm not too worried about that. Not really any way of stopping them coming to the surface if you pick them all out. There, probably need to damp this sponge down a bit. Another thing that happened earlier, the plumber came to fit the sink. So we got the tap here. He's plumbed the waste in all nice, don't know what you can see there. Nice trap going on there into that connection. So really happy with that. Nice bit of character on this Belfast sink. And you have running water there, which is great. Just means you can swill your hands off or whatever. And all this then I'll just have slate in, so you won't see any gaps, you won't see any block work. There'll be slate in the side here. Slate all on this, so nothing will be exposed and hopefully look really old. This is just the final polish around with the sponge now, giving it a good damp in, just to get that final smooth finish on it. See, that was a fibre just pulling out there, just to get any float marks or anything like that out. That is pretty much done now. Just leave that dry out and then ready for paint. We'll see what colour we think we should go on that. I'm thinking of a white or a cream, but if anyone's got any ideas, let me know. Next job now is creating this bit of a grill cooking area where this Argentinian grill is going to sit. We're just putting this brickwork around now. Putting another 2 courses here. And then there'll be bricks right along the back then and the sides. After these 2 courses, the front one will stop, but the sides and the back will come up. There'll be fire bricks inside that, and there'll be a fire brick cooking floor then. I can mount this grill on it and have no problems with burning and heat and stuff like that. It's getting exciting because it's getting closer to the end, and the weather, as you can see, it's turning. You probably hear me squelching on the floor in the mud. It was very wild last night, the weather was, and everything is soaked. So just hoping the weather can hold off today, the showers, and we can get some good progress on this done. Because I'm running out of time. As I said, with the weather, but also with customers wanting me back all the time. There's only so much I can get away with being away from here. Another brick to go there, and then we'll start returning in here then. I've got plenty of fire bricks left, so it'd be nice to use them up as well. There. Now we'll return this back that way then.
course of these reds for now anyway, and then we're going to build up the inside with a fire brick. These bricks are quite wet actually, so they haven't been mapped to lay. This back is hidden, there's going to be fire brick on there. Battling the drizzle as well. There's drizzle in the air. So we're just laying some fire bricks now inside here. We are really battling the weather. Just show you how bad the garden's got now on the floor here. I mean, it's seriously squelchy. A lot of it was to do with the weather last night, but a lot of it's to do with us just walking around here. So we're trying to just lay these fire bricks in the wet. I'm using regular mortar here because this isn't going to be subjected to the kind of heat that the pizza oven is. There'll just be small fires in here, enough to barbecue off and charcoal. So I'll still do the floor with insulation in a fire brick, like the walls, and just building those with regular mortar because they're not going to get really hot. So these aren't so easy to, well, they're easy to lay, but they do swim a bit because they're damp. It's, we're trying to do tightish beds and tight joints. I just have to probably give them a bit of an acid in at the end, monocric acid, when they've gone off, because we're going to be smudging a bit today on them. So we'll just keep getting up. We'll get up to this height here, and then we'll go red brick on top then, because we're away from the heat. And we won't go a lot higher. Probably do a quarter to a red brick then, or maybe even, we might not even go red brick. We just want to get the walls up a bit to try and contain the smoke when you got the fire so it's blowing in the wind. It's a bit of a tight area to work in. Not very fun. As you can see, it got very wet. Well, just very heavy drizzle, so we had to stop for a bit. And it's meant a lot of mortar has run down the brick. So brick acid will be our friend after. That's alright. There's no rain forecast for the rest of the day. We'll get the rest of these laid up to the height of these. And see if we can rescue the bricks with it. It's no fun this time of year when it turns wet. Not a bricklayer's friend. Just hope it dries up enough now that it lets it go off a bit, so we can finish it up and perhaps give it a sponge on the face, so there's a bit less brick acid to do. Just there. As you can see here, I was battling the elements a bit. All the bricks were soaked and it started to rain. This is why I was so keen to get everything done in the pizza oven before the weather turned. Sadly, that wasn't the case. It makes it so much harder when the temperatures drop and things get damp. Laying these fire bricks as the inside of the Argentinian grill area should give me enough protection from the heat. It'll just be a smouldering fire you want underneath this grill, so I'm not too worried about loads of heat there. But I didn't want to just put regular brick in there.
Just doing the last course on this. I know it might look a bit messy, but can't do a lot about the wet, and it will look okay in the end. Just match the height of this red brick now, so we can go back on top with red brick and tie it in with the other one. Still not sure how high I'll come up this wall, but there's only so many red bricks I've got left, so I can't go stupidly high. At least everything can start drying out now. Get on with the brick floor on this soon as well. We'll use up all the bits of insulation. We've got that ceramic fiberboard insulation. We'll use all that up. this isn't crazy paving, this is using up all the offcuts of insulation normally to the base of the heater oven. I just thought it's better to use these bits than throw them all away. I'm going to go over this with like a vermiculite or perlite mix, whatever I've got left there, to use up anyway as well. So just making sure we've got a bit of insulation in here, because something is better than nothing. Might not look the prettiest, but it's got function. Again, remember, if you're cutting this stuff, make sure you wear a mask. I know I've said that before, but wear a mask. I know we'll still get some heat transfer through here, but hopefully by the time we put the vermiculite mix in on top, there won't be too much come through. So what I've got here is a vermiculite and perlite mix, quite dry. You can use this as a bit of a screed mix to sit the bricks on nice and flat. So just basically using up all the stuff we got left, and I've still got loads of vermiculite left. We'll just screed this nice and flat, and then all we're going to do then, we'll drop these bricks on dry then, because they can be replaced if need be then. And they won't go anywhere because they contain stubby, you know, tight joints that touch each other. It's quite nice. I've used up all those last bits of insulation now, which we've just been thrown, so it's quite good. I want it just to finish. So just laying these bricks on the base here, doing just a bit of a herringbone pattern. Nothing too crazy. You can see we're using all the older, well not the older ones, but dirty bricks. Just some of them need a bit more stuff under them. Tricky little cuts, well not tricky cuts at the back, but cuts I do on the cutter. And again, there's no joints or anything in these because you want that bit of movement with the heat expansion. I know you've got mortar on there, but this is where you got the real heat on the floor. Same principle as the oven floor there. Pushing that out a bit, that is. Whew. We've got this floor laid here now. I'll probably use some silica sand or something for the small gaps. There, just brush that in finally. Just point this up now, last job of the day. I know it's sort of stupid, I should have pointed this up before laying this, but this wasn't going off, so I was running out of things to do. And this will clean off easy enough with a sponge. So I'm just going to have a think about over the next few days then, how high to go with these walls on the sides. I think they need to go a bit higher, perhaps to there, just to sort of channel that smoke away and stop the wind blowing at it. That's my plan with it anyway. I'll see what I come up with. And then hopefully get over in some sort of grill to sit in here as well. So just pointing up some of this here. Obviously it was wet all day, which was a complete nightmare. So it's made the end of the day very difficult. Light is fading. Point up the best I can here. I have to just sponge it off and give it a brick acid. It'll all be fine in the end. But
see here how much a brick was running up with a rain shower. It did take a while to dry out to be pointable, but the bricks will be easy enough to clean off. I can just put a bit of brick acid on them when it's all done off. I decided as everything was getting a bit muddy to dig out all the mud, put some hardcore in, ready for some patio slabs to go down, just to make it a nice area to work in. My plan was to put the patio slabs down at the end anyway. So we're just going to put some hardcore down here. We dug out for the width of an Indian sandstone slab, so 600 we got there. We'll put 4 inches of hardcore, 3-4 inches of hardcore, because this area is going to get torn up like you saw in the video the other day. And because there's going to be quite a bit of traffic across here, we'll just lay these slabs across. We'll lay them inside here. I know I haven't finished other bits on it, but I've just got a bit of time today to do this little job, and just to stop all the mud splashing up, because when it rained heavy the other day, all this got stinking from all the mud splashing up from the rain. So that'll stop that, and we can lay the slabs at the end then, and I'll have to end up laying the slabs right into there because it's going to alter the levels. But we're just putting down sub base here, or MOT type 1, as people call it. I'll have to bring some of the soil up to match the edge of the slab, but that's okay. We'll need leveling out the garden anyway. Just got to allow a bit for whacking on this as well, so leave it slightly proud of the stone here. Nice though, isn't it? Should really have a wait for this. Try not to walk on it. Basically my whacker's broken at the moment, it's been repaired. So we'll just roll this. And everything's sticking to it, which is quite nice. Good one. You get the gist, we'll just do that a few times. It'll soon pack down. It'll be a while before I lay on this as well. We'll be finishing all the other jobs first, this will be the last job to do. Just wanted to get it cleaner underfoot. So we haven't done anything on this for a little while. Just haven't had the chance. But I thought I'd just give it a coat of paint, because before we stick all the slate cappings on and stuff, we're going to have to give it a bit of a paint so we don't get paint all over the slate. Or have to cover the slate like mad. So just got this masonry paint now, water it down slightly just to give a bit of better coverage. Brush I had lying around, so no abuse about the brush, please. Good. Okay. Look away. Like it. And go. time away, not away, a bit of time away from this, working on other building jobs. I mean, we're in October now. I didn't really want to be in October doing this because temperatures are changing, everything's damp. But anyway, here we are. So just last row of fire bricks on here now. Mainly the last row because I've run out of them, but I think it's high enough on here because the fire's not going to be raging on this Argentinian barbecue. And then I'm probably going to do another course of bricks on top of this. Then there'll be 2 courses of brick on top of this fire brick then. And that will be done then. Just slate tops and a few patio slabs on the front there. Some Indian sandstone to use up, so we will be done then, and we can get sorted. We've got the electrician coming at some point. He's going to put some lights on for me. I've got some nice idea for lighting, but I'm not going to say too much at the moment. I don't want to reveal all quite yet, but I think it's going to look really good. I don't want anything too modern. I just want it to be sort of old style. There might be a little modern twist on it, but we will see. We'll see what's possible. I wish I could put wire up myself, but I can't do that. Just had a massive rain shower, which is a complete pain because everything is wet now and it's going to be a longer day with everything going off. Anyway, I'm sticking Indian sandstone spare for another job on this. I wanted slate all the way around. I couldn't get hold of any slate. Even the stuff for sale on Marketplace either was too much money or just wasn't right for what I wanted, so I've had to resort to this. Bit of a shame because I think slate all the way around will look really good, but this should still look as good as we want it. Just I'm a bit panicked because I need this to go off enough so I can sort of tool it up. I'm not sure if it's quite going to go off. It might end up being dark, but there we are. Try and lean it that way a bit if I can. That way. I primed the back of these as well with cement-based primer so they make sure they stick. So whilst we're trying to wait for the rest of this to go off, because we had a bit too much rain on it, we are just going to stick on this, don't want to kill the bugs, stick on this slate slab here. So we're going to prime this stone just to make sure it sticks. I've got a bit of mortar to use. I am pushing my luck with what time it is really, but we'll just try and get this stuck on. Just using the primer there because even though the slate's got a bit of weight to it, it's a bit smooth on the back and I just don't want anything coming off all the time, you know, it might get knocked a bit and stuff like that. So that's why I just want to try and get it sticking then. That's the plan. We'll point it all up another time. It's not going to go off today for pointing. Not this time anyway. That. We've got just a little fire going here, and then we got on the wall there is 225 degrees or 245 degrees. Then where we got the bit of meat here is 122 degrees. I'm cutting some Indian sandstone for a piece over there. You'll see which piece it is when we lay it. I'm going to try and cut it by hand. I don't want the disc cutter cut edge on it. Certainly on the bits you can see. 745 by 520. score that there. There we are. Probably not doing it the right way. I mean, Yorkshire stone dresser would be far better than me. But that ain't too bad. That'll do us for what we want there. There we are. So you got nice fettled edges there. I'll have to apologise again for the wind noise. It just turned out to be a really windy period of weather when I was doing all this work. So what I'm doing here is adding a couple more courses at the front of the Argentinian barbecue. This is going to stop any fire falling out and just give it a bit of a lip for the ash to go against. And a bit of protection, as you don't want like hot logs fall on your feet or whatever. And it will give it a bit more protection from the wind also. Just looking at it from the window like this brickwork here. If I'd have done this the other day, I'd have stuck that slate straight on. But because I had a couple of days break, I was able to think about what's coming next. I mean, I was out here with a head torch the other night after I'd laid these. Finishing up, I couldn't film it. It's just we had a few rain showers after I laid them. I was not best pleased. Alright, prime it up. Nice full bed contact. Let's get this as level as we can. Probably get the sandpaper on some of these edges because this does sand off nice, so we can get it smooth the edges over a bit. I'm just getting a bit of primer on this brickwork to make sure the bed sticks to it before I stick this Indian sandstone slab on there that we cut before. This will be a nice bit of usable worktop space. I will also add a bit of feature to the whole look of the build. So on this area above the tap, I'm just fitting some 300 by 300 Indian sandstone copings that I had lying round. And then on this area next to the sink, I cut a bit of slate I had lying round to size, just to make sure I had a bit more worktop space, because I was quite aware throughout the build that my worktop space was getting smaller and smaller. So anywhere I could get a bit of space, I was trying to fit something in. Again, I was lucky this bit of slate just came from a job. It was lying around and the customer didn't want it, so they gave it to me. I just stored it up knowing I'd use it on this project. As it's such a smooth surface I'm sticking to, I'm using more primer before the bed goes on to ensure it sticks to it, as well as the primer underneath the slate. I saved all the thicker bits of slate I had for this section of worktop, as I wanted to see that depth of slate from the side around the pizza oven. The only plus side of the strong wind was the fact that it dried everything out quick enough for me to point it. Just takes all the moisture out of everything. Just meant I was able to finish most of the things up while it was still daylight. I'm just using a nice soft brush to brush all the little bits of mortar off the edge of the slabs and to make sure it doesn't mark the point in. Here. I did some pointing on the bits of slate that I'd laid, just to make sure I didn't have to do it all in one go. And again, this went off nice and quick and I was able to finish it up in good time. So we got like 260-ish there. The jacket potatoes are like that hot. And the meat is that's hot, so. Here I'm laying some Indian sandstone slabs which were left over from another job. I'm laying them on a full mortar bed, which is 30 to 40 millimeters deep. Full bed on these. I also prime the back of the slabs to make sure they stick. I'm hoping these slabs look old enough when they're laid to keep up the aged appearance I'm going for throughout this build. Now that more of these slabs have been laid, you can see it's all really blended in together nicely and looking like it's been there a lot longer than what it actually has. I'm going to start pointing these slabs now. First thing I've got to use is the point master. We're going traditional sand and cement. This is the quickest way to do it. Just load the gun up. Make sure you've got a nice mix, otherwise it will not work. When people curse these tools saying, no, they're no good, but if you've got a good mix, They're into a league of their own. And you just simply screw it in then. You just want to leave it a bit proud so you've got a bit to play with. I'll put a bit of accelerant on this as well and try and get it to go off because I've only got a few hours left of the day. Just need to get these jobs ticked off before the weather really turns. Once I put all the pointing in with the pointing gun, it's just a case of waiting for it all to go off to be dry enough to point up. But as you can see in the next clip, it was a while after before it was dry enough. I knew this was the risk of doing this time of year. Yeah, so this is the realities of trying to work in the winter and finish stuff off. Yeah, this hasn't quite gone off, well, earlier, so it's sort of gone off now, so we'll see if we can finish some of it up. Yeah, it's just maybe gone off enough now. I was going to leave it till the morning to finish up, but this rain coming early hours, so I have to try and finish it tonight. It's only about 8:30 at night, but yeah, I thought it was going to go off quicker than this. It wasn't as windy as I'd hoped for. So we're just about getting away with this. It's slightly wet here because it was a bit of water in the joint. I mean, this is not ideal by any means, but we'll get away with this. This is why I really wanted to get this all done in September while the temperature is still really good. So I'll probably leave that another half hour or so. So just a really light brush off is all it needs. Nice soft brush. Hope you enjoyed the Halloween edition of the pizza oven. As I'd raised the height of the ground, there was now a step from the grass up to the patio slabs. So I decided whilst it was still warm enough in the ground for grass seed to take, to get some topsoil and bring it all up to level. I put just under a ton on the trailer and spread it all out, and then proceeded to get some grass seed on it, in the hope that it'd grow before winter sets in. We've got a bit of time to do a few bits on this oven now. Again, I keep saying the last little bits to finish off, but it is. I just keep getting a bit of time here and there. I'm going to cut this slate around the dome now because I know my plan with the lighting. So what I've got is, I've got these little clips to go in, which will go flat on the floor, and they're going to mount this LED strip. So it'll simply slot into that. I wish I could wire it up, but I can't. It'll slot into that like so. So I'll put a few of these clips in, dotted around the edge of the dome to hold this in place. And the idea is then it's just going to light this dome up all around. I'm going to leave a little recess between the slate and the dome so these clips can go down and you won't see them. Obviously you're going to see this rope, but it shouldn't be too obtrusive and you won't see it looking from over there, you know. We're just going to show how we mark this up. Hold a bit of batten against there and just hold the pencil on it like so, and that'll give us just enough room to get these clips in then, because the clip will literally be sitting in a little recess there like so, and obviously we're leaving just a bit more room than what we need to make it easy. And I'll set these clips up then on spacers or something just to keep them out the water, because this will be a little bit of a well in there. Even though we can get out the back, I still don't want it sitting permanently in water. I'll take this over here and cut it. As my markings on the slate would wash off with the water when I cut, I made a very small mark on it with a 4-inch grinder just so I could see where I was going when I used the wet cutter. I then had to cut from both sides of it as it was a curve, and then flip it over to finish it off. The slate's quite soft, so it's very easy to cut.
We'll just chuck this in here. Should fit this time. There we are. Decent fit there. Enough space there now for that to fit in. Apart from electrics, we are nearly there now. I'm just going to stick all this slate down I cut the other day on the video, which was a pain. It was just so difficult to mark. Very, very difficult to have any measuring points or anything against this curve. Frustratingly slow, but get this stuck down. So we're going to primer this concrete base just because it's quite smooth. Put our mortar bed on that. I put some accelerant in the mix as well, because it's a Sunday, I've only got a few hours to do it. I want it all to go off. Quite lucky at the moment because the weather's been quite steady. It's just grey and dull, but it's not wet, so we'll take that. Close that up a bit. Nice thick chunky bit this. Actually got a bit too much bed on that. I'll wash all that off. Just spit that on the floor. Nice. A lot thicker than all the rest this piece was. I then laid all the rest of the pieces of slate I'd cut, using a lot of the smaller pieces at the back of the dome where it's not going to be seen as much. Just going to put it in by hand. I probably need to wet the mix up to put it in the gun seat, and I don't want to make it too wet because I want it to go off. Even though there's accelerant in it, I still think it's going to take a while to go off. Still got to clean all these bits out in this channel here, but I'll wait till it's gone off a bit. So I'll do that. The slate I'd laid was then pointed, and I went to the other side of the dome, finished off laying that slate, and pointed that too. So we're just scooping this little channel out now. It's gone off a bit, making sure it's free of mortar so these clips can get in here. I'll test these clips in a few places then just to make sure we get into the electrician. So that's all we need. I've made it bigger than what we need just so it's not too tight, and I can easily clean it out with stuff then. A bit of blower in there or whatever. But it fits nice and snugly. Working fairly well. So once again the light has beaten us, so just doing a bit of pointing on this. It's finally gone off enough. Apologies for the shadows. I know it doesn't make the best content watching me point stuff in the dark. It's just thought I'd show you what we're up against. Yeah, not much more happening than this. Just give it a good point off and a brush off. That'll be job done. It's 6:30 on a Sunday. So I don't want to be out here for any longer than I've got to be. Right, so we pointed it off. It's just a case of brushing it with a nice soft brush now. It's gone off plenty now. It's literally just brushing off now. Bits are knocked off.
job done then. And I've just made sure that the channel is cleaned out here so we can get the LED lighting in there. Just slots in there nicely. Slots in there nicely. The door just slots in here nicely. That means I can hold the heat in. So we finally got the lights fitted on here, which is really good. Got this light up here. We've got the LED strip around the side of the oven, which you can't see very well, but I'll show you in the dark as well. That goes right the way around, which is basically this LED strip. You can cut it anywhere. It's really nice to use, the electrician said. You can see here where it goes round. Just need to do a bit of cleaning off and stuff here. It just goes back inside there, then it goes right around the back. But the issue we've now got is, because I decided to put a light under here, sort of shining out, it's throwing light backwards. I sort of knew this when I was building it, but you can see the blockwork at the back. So I'm going to have a really fun job now, building some stonework at the back. So I'll just show you now. I'll show you all the electric bits as well. You can't really see this light in here very well. There's the light there. Let's just see that. So here is all the electric bits on there. And then you can just see where the LED strip goes back into the box there. So he's done a really neat job for me. But yeah, I'm gonna have a fun job now of doing stonework under here. I mean, one good thing with it is I'm gonna be that tidy under there. So as long as I can see stonework, no, you know, I'm not gonna be sitting in there. But I'm in the house with the lights on and I can see the blockwork. And I know when I'm sitting on the tables and chairs over there in the summer, I'm gonna see this blockwork and it's gonna bug me. So this is officially the final job. So I'm gonna get under there, lay some stones. Danny, the cameraman, is gonna pass me compo and stuff. And hopefully it won't take too long. I think I'm gonna regret being under here though, because I've already been under there just for a look and it was not pleasant. So I'm under here now, building this wall. It's not too bad. I mean, yeah, it's probably the worst place I've ever built a wall, but yeah, quite cozy. So, as I said, I haven't got to worry too much about what this wall looks like, as long as it looks fairly decent. So I can just use some bad stone and pretty much throw it up. This is the idea. It's not structure or anything. Mind you, none of this stonework on this build is really structural apart from by the chimney. Most of it's just there for show. I've got young Danny passing everything outside. So this is what I've got to work with there. Now this is where I'm trying to describe to Danny what stone I want, and he hasn't got a clue because I don't really know until I see it. So both I describe that as longer. Oh, fuck. That's not too bad. That'll do there. Use to there. Like that. Must have been.
Yeah. Oh, I don't understand how you can use these for some.
But you can stick him there like that.
I know. Struggled with it then, barrel.
There's no strength at this height, like there's no. I'm really strength.
Yeah, if you're too low, you gotta basically lift it above your head, but also to the side.
Ah! That's fine there. Right, excuse my stonework here because it's not the best, but
just filling up. I'm never really going to see this, but oh, that literally, that is like a perfect fit there. Right, this stonework is now complete, so I'm not too bothered about like immaculate pointing up in here. I'm just gonna give it a bit of a thing, because you're never really gonna see it. It's just to give that effect from when you're sitting down and stuff. Just don't want to see that blockwork. And obviously you can see I haven't gone to the top there, but unless you poke your head in, you can't see it. And to be honest, there's going to be stuff in here sometimes anyway, so I'm not too bothered. It's just to give that appearance of this, basically. Right, job done in here now. Let's have a look. Just take our eye off it. Look, I know I said we didn't go all the way to the top, but this is all I'm after, that effect. When you're looking from out there, you know. So I finally had my grill made. I found someone selling these grills on eBay. There's a few places doing them, but this bloke I found, he just sort of did it custom made for me. I was really happy with the pictures and stuff he had on there. It's turned out really well. So pretty simple. You've got some V-shaped grills there, little fat collection tray in the front. All the fat strip off the grills into the fat collection tray. It means it's not dripping all on your embers there and making loads of flames. There's just a wheel to adjust the height up and down then. Nice and simple. Really smart looking. There's a bit of a warming rack at the back as well. I'll show you everything on it up close now. So you've just got a simple wire which winds its way up in there like so. Then there's your V-shaped grills. Here's your fat collection tray, which is removable. You can also use that to baste all your meat with. Then you've got a firebox here, which I don't know if you can see there. It's crisscross, so it allows the embers to drop down once they're burning. Then you drag the embers across where you can warm your food. And then you can just adjust the grill up and down depending on how hot the fire is and what sort of temperature you want your cook with. So I had this door made by Owen of OJ Carpentry from some cedar that was lying around. Giving it a couple of coats of oil on there. It just slots in here nicely to hold the heat in when we're not burning it. Just if I want to cook anything after we've cooked some pizzas or something. It slots in there and gives it a real neat finish then.
Now we will go through the total cost for the whole build. So steel mesh for the base, which was £50. There's 250 fire bricks, which was £737.50. There was concrete blocks, which was £50. Calcium silicate board, 50mm thick for under the base bricks, £173.98. There's mesh for on top of the dome insulation, £17.99. 25kg bag of fire clay, £31.45. Refractory mortar, £70. Ceramic insulation blanket, £57.32. 400 litre bags of perlite, £92.12. Chimney pot, which was reclaimed, £70. 3 tons of building sands, £100. 20 bags of cement, £120. 3 tons of stone for the base concrete, £90. The Argentinian grill was custom made. That was from someone on eBay. That was £750. The lighting materials were £164.74. The electrician was £300. The plumber and his materials were £100 to get the sink going. The paint for the dome was £30. We had reclaimed bricks, which were free. Building stone, which was free. Vermiculite, which was free. These were all Facebook Marketplace finds. We had slate, which was free. We had a sink, which was free. We had Indian sandstone, which was free. That was left over from a job. I may have missed some smaller stuff off, but that's the main things. So let's add all of the amounts together, and that gives us a total of £3,045 and 10 pence. I also kept a log of hours I'd worked on the oven, and there was a lot of hours involved. There's probably some hours I've missed out, but let's go through what I got. So a total of roughly 172 hours. And if we do that at a tradesman average price of £25 per hour, which is £4,300. There's probably some hours unaccounted for, as I've said, but don't know what they are. I had some labour and help, and that came in at roughly £825. So if we add my labour and the labouring cost together, that's 5,125. So let's add the materials total to the labour total, and it is £8,170 and 10 pence. I hope showing all these totals gives everyone a good idea of the costs involved in making an oven. You can make an oven a lot cheaper if you don't have to account for your labour. And remember, with materials, there's always lots of places like Facebook Marketplace where you might find them free or very cheap. Now let's get on with some cooking, and then we can show the lights in the dark. I can't wait to show everyone what they look like.
Right, so now this grill's going properly. You can just see down below there some of the coals dropping down. So what happens then is you drag them across. I've got this tool to drag them across with, and then you drag the hot coals across. Like so, and spread them out. So the idea is you have no flames with it for cooking. And there's a good heat coming off that there now, so that's great. So we'll drop this back down to warm it up. And you have quite small bits of wood, so they can burn and drop through rather than big bits where they just sit there and burn out. The idea is with the small ones, they'll get to a point where they just break, and then you've got the embers come down. And pizza oven is really nice and toasty there. Chuck another log on. Burning really nice. Really nicely. So here's the idea, got the hot coals going there. Keep dropping down, drag them across. And then lower this down then. And just get the food cooking on it. Got a couple of pizzas ready to go. We're just waiting for some temperatures to get up here. We'll have a look how we're looking for temperatures. So we've got like we've got the pizzas queuing up now, ready to go on the oven. Right, we've got about 400 there. So we got some really, really good temperatures. So we can get these pizzas in now. And on the metal there we got 250 degrees odd and more. So that's really good. So yeah, we'll get some meat on there now. Really happy with that. Patiently waiting for his pizza. Very patiently waiting for his pizza. He'll have something. Just want to show the importance of getting the insulation right in these. So I cooked on Sunday. Got up to temperature and everything, obviously pizzas and all that. And today is Tuesday. And we got still 50 odd degrees on the floor, 60 odd degrees on the roof. So it just goes to show how well insulated these are. You know, yesterday you still could have cooked something easily in it.